In the world's greatest country, in its most pivotal state, lies Pennsylvania's Lehigh Valley, an economic hub that's as vibrant as it is ideologically eclectic. Its just over 700,000 residents will play a critical role in deciding the course of American leadership and thereby the world. Who are the thinkers, workers, and leaders that will decide our collective fate? Join me, Moshe Kurtz, as I walk through the valley and find out. Thank you, my friends, for joining me today as I walk through the valley with former Allentown Councilman and School Board President, Mr. Robert E. Smith, Jr., the Republican nominee to serve as Pennsylvania's 22nd Legislative District Representative. Mr. Smith, it's wonderful to have you on the show.
Thank you. It's great to be here. Honored to be here. Thank you for inviting me, Rabbi.
Absolutely. Now, I always start the candidate interviews with a very simple and direct question. Why should you serve as the next representative for the 22nd District?
Well, I'm not doing this for a job. I don't need a job at 64, Rabbi. I have a great job serving my people with brain injuries during the day. I'm a program specialist, and I love the job. I'm doing this to serve people. I don't need a career in politics at 64. It's not a stepping stone. I don't need the salary. I'm doing it for the right reasons at the right time. And I think as a Maverick, I will be for the people, not a rubber stamp for a party, not a rubber stamp for this person, not rubber stamp for a PAC or endorsement group. I will be a rubber stamp for the people of the 22nd District. I can stand up to both parties. It's very one or two seats. I don't even know how many seats it's going to be after the election. We'll see. But I can get my views across, and I will do so. And both parties, I will work with the Democrats. If they're right, I will work with them. And if the Republicans are right, I'll work with them. I can be on both sides. I will represent everyone equally. And I think I can do that better than my opponent.
I appreciate that. And I remember when I did sit in on the special election 22nd District debate, you made exactly the same assertion about being a Maverick. And we will unpack that later in the interview. So I'm excited to do that. But before we talk about your plans for the future, should you be elected into office, I actually want to take the opportunity, like I do with many guests on the show, we're going to actually hop into a DeLorean and go back in time for a little bit. I don't know if you got the Back to the Future reference there. And I wanted to find out a little bit about 10-year-old Bob. Did 10-year-old Bob always have political aspirations? Is this where you saw yourself being in life?
It's funny you say that because when I was 10, I always wanted to be president of the United States. That was a little higher than state rep, but...
So you always did have political aspirations?
Yes, I was student council president in high school. And both my parents, I came from New York originally. I was born in Queens, New York. My dad was a Teamster and my mom was a waitress. So I came from middle class kind of family. And they got divorced, sadly, and then it spread my life into New Jersey. My dad lived in New York. My mom lived in New Jersey. But I always wanted to get into politics. And in high school, I won for city council. I gave the Kennedy speech, and everybody started applauding and clapping and standing up, and I won the election against the most popular kid in school.
Really?
And the cheerleader that was running against. So that was like a stepping stone into my thought process.
What was it, your policy points? These was a very intellectual, cerebral crowd, or did you just like bribe everyone with cookies? What was your strategy?
In high school, I think they wanted chocolate milk. It was that there was some reason we couldn't have chocolate milk. I don't know if we didn't have a distributor or something. So I set it up with the local one. We got a little bit of chocolate milk in my term. So that was interesting. That was a small issue back in those days.
So putting it into contemporary terms, are you planning on like handing out free chocolate milk to the residents of the 22nd District? Do you think that could help with the election?
I don't know about chocolate milk, but I'm trying to give them tax breaks. Let me tell you, the homeowner, I'm going door to door. I just went yesterday. I hit 100 homes on the east side of Allentown.
Wow.
I love the streets, Moser and Southside. They're right next to each other, so you can go right across really quick. And people that I'm meeting, they're thriving for leadership. There's a lot of people that are not Republican and Democrat right now. There's the U word that's unaffiliated, independent. They're different parties. They're sick of both sides because both sides are not getting things done. Things are getting stalled, and both sides are to blame on this. They're all, not all, Most of them are worried about the next election always. We're always worried about the next election. So we'll hold things up and vote on this after the election. We got to get things done now. We can't worry about the federal government. I know that's a different issue, and I'm not running for president and Congress. I'm running for state rep. And I got to do everything I can for the people of the 22nd District. Not worry about the federal. We can't worry about handouts. We can't worry about the problems of the federal government. We got to take care of ourselves and our people on the state level.
Absolutely right. You have to be a pragmatist to a certain degree.
Exactly.
And we are going to, again, unpack your policy positions in just a moment. I still want to learn a little bit about Bob. So I appreciate hearing about the chocolate milk and running for, class president. Fast forwarding to 2010. Now, this is an incident that was not easy to find online. I had to do a little Googling, and only because a member of our synagogue, who's a friend of yours, pointed it out to me. I did find the Morning Call article that back in 2010, there was an incident at Mount Trexler Manor in which you apparently had rescued an individual who was attempting to commit suicide. I never got the full story, and I know it's not something you typically offer up to people, but I was wondering if you could share that with us.
Yeah, my wife, when we're at events, my wife doesn't like me bringing it up, but thank you for bringing it up, I guess, for one more time. I've been at the same job at New Vitae for 19 years. It's my 20th year, and I deal with people with brain injuries and all different kinds of different disabilities. So we'll get into the health field because it's really important to me.
Yeah.
But there was a 20-year-old girl who went up the fire escape and got on the roof. And I heard it on the radio, and somebody said, "Girl on the roof." So I ran right out there. I go up the fire escape, and she was right. She was fine, and I knew her. So I had a good relationship with her. I don't know if I would have did this if I didn't have any, relationship, because I didn't think I could reach her, because I never did this before, obviously. You either do it or you don't. You have 5 or 10 seconds to react.
Wow.
Now, you either do it or you don't, and I'm the only one up there, I'm the only one responding. And then she went toward the ledge. I go, she's going to jump. So I went over to her. She grabbed me. I stuck my hand out like a cat, and she bounced off my chest. We went down 30 feet from the roof.
Oh my God.
It broke my ribs, compounded fractures,
I could see the scars. Wow.
And I hurt myself bad on the arms, but she bounced off my chest, 200 pounds she was about, walked away and said she was sorry. I never saw her again after that.
Oh my gosh.
But she lived, and 6 months later, I was back to work, but it was a tough go, and I almost died. They gave me, I don't think they call it last rites, but I got the blessing of, before you die.
Oh my God.
It was a tough freak, but I was in the Lehigh Valley Hospital, and they saved my life. That emergency room and everybody there, God bless them. I had so many cards from everybody in Lehigh Valley. It was just so supportive and so nice, that part. But it was one of the roughest things I ever went through in my life and my family. I was worried about going home because I didn't want to, my family, my people I work with, their families are supportive, but it's hard on the families when you're taking care of someone with disabilities or everything. And I couldn't walk for a while. My arms are in slings, but I never missed a board meeting. I went to the board meeting with slings in my arms. And Dr. Angelo said some nice things about me then too. But you either do it or you don't. I don't think I would hope, Rabbi, that if my daughter or granddaughter was on a roof, God forbid, and thinking about killing themselves, that there would be someone there to save them. Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm about. That's what I just thought I could do. I know some people say you risk your life and everything, but you have to do it sometimes. You have to make that split-second decision to save someone.
And that's what I appreciate about the story, is that I think kind of demonstrates how you're a man of action. And, it sounds like you didn't even get that much of a thank you afterwards, but you did what was right. So I now want to fast forward. Now we're going forward about 16 years. Now we're in 2026, if I got my arithmetic correct. I want to ask you a question. This one's a little bit of a tougher one. So let's talk a little bit more history for a moment. You've run for the 22nd District in the past.
I'm the only Republican ever, too, by the way.
The only Republican.
Well, since they did redistricting, I should emphasize.
And I think because we'll get into the nuances of your policy positions, you're uniquely positioned more than some other Republicans to run for this. But
correct.
I don't want to put words into your mouth. We'll get there.
Correct,
we'll get there in a moment. But you've ran against, at the time, State Rep Josh Siegel. He's now the county executive for Lehigh County, and then also Anna Taberchio as well in the special election. And both those times were unsuccessful. And I don't, it's a deep blue district is my understanding. So any Republican is naturally trying to go against the tide to a certain degree. That leads me to the question, which is, you're now going against a new candidate, Ce-Ce Gerlach. And she herself actually was on school board, Allentown School District, I believe, and also currently is a city councilwoman for the city of Allentown. So a very similar political background in terms of recent years. What is your strategy for achieving different results this time around to win the election?
I'm working harder than I ever did in any election. I'm doing door to door every single day, even if it's just one street a day. I have to meet the people. Every person I've talked to has got some response. Even the diehard Democrats say, well, you are the nicest Republican I've ever met. I may not get that
backhanded compliment.
Exactly. I may not get that diehard Democrat, but at least they listen to me and I got them to talk with me. And that is half the distance. You got to get people to talk. And I have to get that's the state rep job, listening to the people, their concerns. I can have all the issues in the world and like put it on a mailer and this is what I'm believing. It's the affordability one. How many times have we heard that?
Right.
Yes, I don't want buzzwords. I want to go to the door. I hear about the senior citizen who's telling me, why do I have to keep paying property taxes when I don't have any kids in the school for 40 years? It's killing me. I get 2% Social Security increase and then the trash fee goes up for them. And all these fees go up for them. And the city tax goes up. And the school tax goes up. And now next year, the county tax is going up. How much, I'm not saying we don't need taxes, but how much can one person who's on a fixed income take? It's just too much. And people don't want to go into assisted living or nursing homes. They want to keep their homes. As you know, older people like to live in their homes. Not everybody wants to move out. They like to live in their homes. I have a neighborhood. I have a 95-year-old man next to my house. He's living there for like 50 years. A great neighbor. He was such a great neighbor, and he's going strong. Wow. Celebrating 95 this year.
Wow.
And that's about the district. People like that. Young people, old people, all different races.
So that actually leads into the next question I have, which is, it sounds like you are focused on making life affordable for all the people living in the 22nd district. I know we just said affordability is a buzz term, so let's put a little bit of meat on the bones, if you will. So one of the things that is making its way into WFMZ and the Morning Call in recent days is the Neighborhood Improvement Zone, which I think it's called the NIZ for short. Fun name, but you'll tell me if it's a fun concept or not. The basic idea, to my understanding, is that the city of Allentown wants to revitalize the downtown district, and it is offering tax incentives in order to generate more business and to just have more of a vibrant downtown culture. That's my understanding, just as a random citizen from the outside reading about it. It sounds to me, and maybe you'll give some nuance to this, it sounds like a benign idea. It sounds like the downtowns of Easton and Bethlehem are doing really well. Allentown needs a way to revitalize and make sure it too is a strong cultural center and economic center. And that's what it seems that the initiative is purportedly attempting to achieve. Though I know you have some misgivings, to put it moderately, but rather than me put the words in your mouth, I'd like to understand your approach to it.
We don't know where the money is. How much money? How is it you have a NIZ program and we don't know how much money's there? Senator Coleman just unanimously got something passed saying, tell us what's in there. What is the NIZ doing with the money? I'm hearing different rumors about money going here, money going there, money going out of state. Where is the money? Why is it such a secret? Now, this was a great idea to build the arena. The arena is built. The money paid for the arena. Why do we need the NIZ anymore? This money could be going for the school district. The school district isn't getting the money yet from the NIZ. And look, and I like J.B. Riley. He's done a lot. It's Rileytown now a little bit. And I have a problem with I don't know if we're going to bring this up, the hospital, because the school district, he paid $5 million for 198 acres, and the school district paid him $14 million for 16 acres. So then he got his money back 3 times there. I know there's other things he's going to be doing there, but the school district really got out negotiated by him.
Wow.
And he's a good guy. He puts a hospital wing on, so I'm not going to, over here, he's making a fortune, but he does give his money, to be fair with him. But the NIZ, its time is gone. If they're not going to tell us where the money's going and what it's about, the people deserve to know where the tax money's going. This is it. NIZ has been going on for years, and they're being secretive about the money. And Senator Coleman stopped one of the board members, as he has the right to do.
Right. Senator Coleman, just for listeners, being the Republican state senator for District 16. Just a quick note, we did recently interview Lehigh County Controller Mark Pinsley, who is the Democrat nominee running against him in November. So just to contextualize that. But if I'm understanding correctly, Bob, your opposition is not fundamentally to it having a NIS. It is to the current management and usefulness of having one at this time.
There's also gentrification involved here, too. I mean, people got pushed out, and that's not fair. They can't afford $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 rents in those buildings. It seems there was a strategy to get low-income families out, and let's get the young professionals in, and that's gentrification as far as I'm concerned. And there's no, families moving into $2,000 rent, $1,500 rent.
Is it people like me coming from New York who are guilty of ruining the area?
Well, then I 33 years ago, I came from Queens, so at least we're making it.
We were in Kew Garden Hills for a couple of years, so touche. But you know what strikes me as interesting is I didn't talk about the NIS with Ce-Ce Gerlach on recording, but my understanding is that she too has misgivings about the gentrification and what that means for the lower income residents. So correct me if I'm wrong, this actually sounds like a point of agreement that you have with your Democrat opponent.
It may be a point of agreement, but I'm the one talking about it. Ce-Ce's being quiet, and that's the difference between... And I respect her because she knows there's a problem with this, but she's not yelling about the NIS. I haven't seen anything lately about the NIS or the data centers as well. I know she did something on city council, but she needs to be out against her party, and she's being very quiet about these issues.
So, right, definitely, I do hear that, and at the same time, I do want to shift to a particular, not a policy position, but more of a philosophy that I think Ce-Ce and members of the Democrat Party have articulated, which is, I ask, why do you choose to be a Democrat as opposed to a Republican? And one of the things that I hear that they would argue is that the Democrat Party is more welcoming to immigrants. They're more welcoming to people who are not typical heterosexual white males. We do live in Allentown, which is actually over 55%, I believe at this point, Spanish-speaking population. And much of what I hear from the blue team is that they're articulating that they're the champions of the non-white population and that the Republicans care more about the white population. That's kind of like a thing. I'm not putting that in Ce-Ce's mouth, but that's a thing from the Democrat Party in general. I'm curious how you would respond to that.
That is so ridiculous. We just nominated the first president and vice president of the Lehigh County Republican Committee, both Latino. My daughter, Jacqueline Rivera, my wife is Spanish, by the way, from Honduras. And George Rivera and Jacqueline Rivera, no relation. They're both Latino.
That confused me for a while, by the way.
I know. A lot of people thought they were married, but no.
The Morning Cole had to put a line in there to clarify that.
No relation, but good friends now. Yes. And they're working good together. And that's the Big Ten. Scott Pressler, I'm not going to out people, but Scott Pressler is a well-known white gay man in the Republican Party. We have the Big Ten is growing bigger, and it's the Republican Party that's growing bigger. My wife is Latino, my children, my grandchildren. I have grandchildren that are a mixture of Syrian, Afro-American, Puerto Rican, white, Irish, German. My family's United Nations. That is so ridiculous. I go to door, I know poquito español, I'm getting a lot better. I should know more Spanish, but I am relating to the Spanish people want businesses. Spanish people are hardworking people. That snap crack by the Democrat about comparing SNAP people or all Latinos, that was an insult to them. Yeah. Latinos are hardworking people. My wife's been working ever since she had children. She's been working. Latinos have businesses in this town. We support Latino businesses. That is very racial discrimination there.
Yes, and again, I just want to clarify, those weren't Ce-Ce's words, but that's like kind of just a general ethos that you'll hear from the other side. So that's an important clarification. Yes, the head of Lehigh County Republican, what's it called? The commission?
Lehigh County Republican Committee.
Committee, thank you. Himself is a Latino, so I guess in some ways Republicans are more diverse these days, depending how you look at it. one other thing I want to touch on, which is not your points of disagreement with the Democrat Party, but we started off the interview in your opening kind of statement. You said that you are a maverick and that you're willing to differ with both parties and also work with both parties. And one thing that caught my attention, and you mentioned this in your recent debate, which now is quite some time ago, but I remember this one, which is your approach to recreational marijuana, to cannabis, to skilled games, and taxing them in order to get revenue for your district. Now, this struck me as something very interesting because not so long ago, we had the pleasure of interviewing Treasurer Ce-Ce Gerlach, who, as many know, is the Republican gubernatorial candidate for Pennsylvania. And she came out unequivocally against any form of legalizing and enabling recreational marijuana. So I'd love to understand your position and how that squares with your Republican affiliation.
Well, I agree with the governor on this. This is where, I talked to the police chief, and he's not so for this.
Roca, yeah.
Yeah, he's not for this. I'm being honest with you. We have to
Nice
do it
fellow.
right, though. Very nice. He's a great police chief.
Yeah, we love him.
Yes, I do, too.
I'm not allowed to take positions on the show, but I think this is something obvious enough I can say.
And I listened to him, what he had to say, but I hear it's a gateway drug. I don't agree with people not being able to grow their own. They don't have to smoke near a park or in a school, just like you can't drink near a park or a school. All this, there's a gateway of taxes going out the door from Pennsylvania, and it's going to all the states around us. If we can work together where there's safeguards, and it's got to be done right. It's got to be done right. We have to be careful with this because I believe law enforcement may have a point, but at the same time, all this money is leaving the state. Why can't we keep some of the money here? And it helps people. Like I work with people with brain injuries. This would help people with brain injuries, with cancer. We're not looking at the medical side of this. This is really the medical. A lot of things can help people. It's not, I understand it's recreational for some people, and we don't want a gateway to harder drugs. But I think from a business sense, and if it's done right, helping people who are on disabilities with mental problems and mental disabilities, I think it can be done right. And I think whoever the governor is, and I hope it's Ce-Ce, we can work this out together. And I'm going to give my point of view on this. And I'm not always going to agree with the Republican Party, and this is one issue. I don't want people a gateway to other drugs. Of course not. But at the same time, we have people drinking too much. We have people gambling too much. We have to do moderation in smoking cigarettes, for God's sakes. My residents smoke twice a day. It drives me crazy. I wish there were no smoking. I don't smoke.
Neither do I.
I just don't like that.
I have asthma, so I'm not even tempted.
Good for you. I just can't stand but they have a right to smoke. And I try and do it in moderation. We only do it twice a day. Moderation. And if we can do it the same way with recreational marijuana, I think we can help people receive the income and at the same time do it in a way that law enforcement is happy. And I definitely work with the chief on this too.
Right. And I think that's an important distinction that you brought up, which is there's a difference between having the marijuana in a medical setting or a prescription that a doctor is overseeing and is able to do so in a responsible manner that could maybe help some of the residents that you know personally versus just people who are healthy, who are fine, who don't need it, who are smoking on the streets. One good news that actually we did in a previous interview, we had Brooke Griffiths, who is the executive director of the Blue Zones Initiative in the Lehigh Valley, Allentown, and she was talking about how, due to their advocacy and other partners, City Council actually passed an ordinance prohibiting smoking within a certain amount of distance of the park. So just like you referenced.
That's great. See that? And on the skills, we have to do something. The skills on the taxing the skills.
Yeah.
Now, if we don't tax it, the state police go into the clubs and take the machines in October. If legislators don't do anything, let's say they just sit back and let it go, then the state police can go in and take the machines out. Now, if you take the machines out, a lot of these clubs may fail. They're going to lose all that income. So we've got to work something out that's equitable. I know Senator Coleman's working on it. We need to come up with some kind of compromise, a fee instead of a tax. This way they're not getting taxed every week. But maybe there's a fee on the machines that will cover this, that the Supreme Court will be okay with as well.
So there's a better way to regulate it.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, speaking of recreation, not recreational marijuana, I presume, though I don't want to, actually, I shouldn't make any assumptions. as I always say, the people who I have on the podcast, since they're worth interviewing, chances are they don't have a lot of free time because they're doing a lot of important work. And I'm sure that's the case for you as well. But in the little bit of free time that you get, you came to the Lehigh Valley much earlier than I did, let's just suffice to say. What do you enjoy doing in the area for fun?
Oh my God, first of all, I love going to the high school plays. I love theater that I helped like make better from the middle school up. I just love going to the theater. My wife and I just love to try and go to the concerts in the park. They're wonderful. Our park system is the best in the world. Lehigh Valley is probably the best place to live. We found the American dream here. I like fantasy football. That's a side issue. It's starting up, so that's a fun thing.
They ever do that for politics, like fantasy politics?
That would be interesting.
There was, I think, I forgot if it was Vox or New York Times or one of those podcast shows. They did a draft. So I'm not a sports guy, but I wonder if anyone does like a local draft for the Lehigh Valley elections. That'd be interesting.
I also like to bowl. I bowled a 202 yesterday. It's the best bowling I've done in 40 years. When I was like 15, 16, 17, I was on the bowling team.
Oh, yeah.
And I was a great bowler. But since my accident, I haven't been doing it too much. But yesterday, I bowled with my residents, and it was a 202.
Where do you go bowling? Is that place on 15th Street in Allentown?
I go to Earl's because I work in Quakertown. And it's Earl's Bowling Alley right on 309 there. Every Tuesday morning, I take residents to get them out in the community, and they go bowling. They love it.
That's great. And are you at Quakertown? Is that where that incident happened with the police chief and the students who were protesting? I mean, that might be outside of your purview. I'm not sure if you're
yeah, I did. I read about it, but I wasn't involved.
Okay, we won't go there then. We'll have to have someone from Quakertown talk about that. Hopefully, it's resolved at this point. So, usually at this point, I would ask, is there anything you differ from your party on? You kind of talked about that already, but other than the, recreational marijuana and skill games, are there other points of disagreement that you have?
I have a problem with this automatic pay increase in the legislation. That is a no-no. I may not have the power, but I will put up a bid. Yes. And why is it automatic? They used to have to vote on it so the people can see, he voted for a pay increase. I'm not going to vote for him again. Or if I think he deserved it, okay, he deserved it. He had a good year. I'll vote for it. But now it's automatic. We have no say.
Right.
How many people get an automatic increase with the economy so tough? Some of us are capped sometimes. Some of us don't get a raise. Why should our legislators get an automatic raise? And that's where we differ on, I believe.
Okay. I definitely hear the argument for that. And this is also something that I ask specifically to political candidates, which is, I just had the pleasure, we've just been sitting down for nearly 30 minutes now, and we've gotten to know each other a little bit better. I mean, there's a conversation we had off recording that people are not privy to as well. So I've had the pleasure of getting to know Bob Smith better than I did before. However, for many people out there who maybe, they weren't home when you knocked on their door, maybe they haven't yet had the opportunity to have a conversation with you. And all they know about you is a quick line in the morning call or a soundbite on Facebook or another social media platform. So what if somebody were to sit down with you? What is something that they would appreciate learning about you that they wouldn't know just from social media?
Well, I'm a father, 3 children. I have 5 grandchildren, and I spend a lot of time with them. I don't think many people know that I'm a grandfather. They think I'm too young to be a grandfather, but I'm 64. That's a pretty good age for a grandfather. I love my family. I love Allentown. I think I'm transparent. That's one thing and I always show up. I never missed a meeting on city council and school board in over 16 years and 2 years on the Allentown City Council. I give my phone number out if I'm allowed to, 610-393-4703. Anybody can call me. I get back to people within 24 hours. By text. If I can't call you, I'm in a meeting, I'll text you. I'll get you on social media. I try to respond to everyone in 24 hours.
I can attest to that personally.
So I'm really an accessible person. I think that's important as an elected official because you can't always call the elected official sometimes and get what you want. And not even being on the school board, I respond to people. I try to help everyone. Even though I'm not on the school board, I know a lot of administrators and a lot of people in the district, and people come to me for help. Perfect example, the Allentown cheerleaders yesterday. They didn't get their paperwork in on time, so they weren't going to be able to go to cheerleading camp. Made one text. I'm not saying I did it or not, but it was done.
So you jumped into action.
Yes, it was fixed. They're going to the camp. Things like that I love. It's behind the scenes, but still I can get things done without even being in office sometimes.
That's good to know.
And I will work for people.
Right. And the penultimate question, which trips up a lot of candidates, is what is one thing that you admire about the other side of the aisle? Looking at the blue team, the Democrats, what's one thing you could pick out that despite all the fundamental disagreements that you have, that you could admire about what they are?
Well, this may get me in trouble, but in the special election, my opponent got $54,000 from the state committee. That's a lot of money. I wish I had $50,000 in my special election. I got $2,400. I just think state committee, I wish money wasn't involved. Everybody should get a certain amount and then do what you want with it and then go against each other.
Right. In some countries, I think it runs that way.
I mean, I'm not for socialism or anything, but when these millionaires or these PACs or these special interest groups come in and can give a candidate so much money, they get airtime, they can do commercials. And that was a big advantage in my special election race.
Absolutely. I definitely hear the concern for that. And for the final question, which is, we just passed the 250th anniversary of the United States of America. Mr. Bob Smith, what does that mean to you?
Oh my God, I love this country. And people have to understand that it is so important to know we're a young country. We're only 250 years compared to other countries in Europe. They're way older than us. And we have gone through so much, from slavery, from the woman's suffrage stage of our lives, World War II. We've gone through so much as a country, and we're young, and we have so much hope. People are not trying to get in Cuba or North Korea or Russia or China, communist China. They're coming to America. People want the freedom. We're still the freest country in the world. We still have so much hope and promise. And that's what I want to do for the 22nd District. Always make sure there's hope and promise for the future. And that's what we need. Faith, freedom, and hope.
Well, that's something I hope we could all get behind. Mr. Robert E. Smith Jr., thank you for your time, and I appreciate you joining me as I walk through the valley.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you for joining me as I walk through the valley. If you enjoyed this episode, please take a moment to rate and subscribe to our show. If you have questions or would like to book a live recording or have a speaking request, please email rabbi@sonsofisrael.net. This is Moshe Kurtz. I look forward to having you join me next time as I walk through the valley.